But what have you been up to? How are things in Israel?
Pretty good. I've been pretty busy, doing lots of different projects now with AI and automation, and I always keep learning. It's really tough to keep up with everything that's being updating every day with AI, so it's really overwhelming. But overall, being busy, enjoying my time. It's getting a bit cold here at night. I live like in a city in a desert, so in the at night it gets really cold.
Hmm.
Um, but overall it's fine right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't Israel like have some of the leading technology in the world?
I mean, it depends how you look at it, but yeah, we have some really I think some really important patents and technology have been developed here. Something like I think um, the USB flash drive, I think, was invented here. Drip irrigation system, a lot of the Intel processors and chips. Um, some people say the cherry tomatoes were invented here. I'm not sure if
Cherry
that's
tomatoes.
yeah, because it's the seed is scientifically kind of I don't know how to say that. They played with the
The
DNA
DNA?
DNA of the seed, and I think they said that the first cherry tomato, the first form was invented here.
Yeah, I believe the one most people are most know in America is Waze.
Right, yeah. People use Waze. They prefer Waze over the other navigation systems in the US, like Google Maps or Apple Maps.
Yeah, it's way better. Roxanne refuses to use it, but I tell her it's better.
I think I tried when I lived in Jacksonville. I tried the Apple Maps app for a while, and then I transferred back to Waze, and it did feel a bit better. I think what's really interesting is that Waze was bought by Google, and Google have their own map navigation system, the Google Maps. But right now they have like their main competitor, Waze. They own 100% of it, I believe. So it's really interesting what's going to happen with Waze because Google has their own Google Maps. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But what has it been like recently over there? I know it hasn't been good. Is it getting any better?
I mean, war and everything. It's been a pretty long time since it started, about 15 months ago, since October 7th, the huge escalation. Um, it's really rough to see everything going around us. I mean, so many people dying. No one is happy about it. And everything internally about how we deal with it, like with politics and how a lot of the politicians don't take accountability.
I
Um,
think that's
I
everywhere.
think, yeah, I think, like in Israel, like we feel the war through our friends, but not through like, it doesn't hurt a lot of the day-to-day life. I mean, sometimes like in Tel Aviv, they last week, they had, I think 4 days in a row or something like that. There were rockets from Yemen
Hmm.
shot at Israel. So people had, like in the middle of the night, had to run to the bomb shelter, and a few people were hurt and everything. But we are very used to it, so we just continue with the routine. But the place where we feel it the most is with our friends that go and they are at the reserves and they go and fight and do these different kind of missions, and their lives are really really affected, and that kind of affects us as well. So we're helping them or taking care of I had a friend who had a full month of reserved time where he had to basically protect the border in some area, and he has a cat. And I mean, we had to go and take care of his cat, for example. So it's really weird to talk about it in that way, but it affects everyone in a different way. I think we're very fortunate overall. I'm very, very sad about how it affects the people, of course, in Gaza, Lebanon, Syria. Of course, it's horrible. I really hope it ends and the hostages come back and people will be able to rebuild their lives in all of the places that were affected by this. But yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah, I don't know how many people know, but everyone in Israel has to serve time in the army at some point. And you did what, intelligence or something?
Yes, I served for the mandatory time is when I enlisted, it was 2 years and 8 months, and then I served an extra 2 years as a non-commissioned officer. Yeah, it's difficult to stop your whole life at 18, not go to college like in America, but go to the military. But it really it makes you an adult very fast. You have to deal with a lot of extreme situations at the very beginning when you do your basic training and your basic course. But then after that, it really depends on the kind of job you do. So I was in the intelligence. So I had an office job. It was basically like going to work every day, but in a uniform. And the job that we did was for the national security. But that's another thing because everyone does it. It's so huge. The military is so big that there are so many different kind of jobs. Like you can be a cook, you can be a truck driver, you can be a combat soldier, you can be a pilot, you can be work in the intelligence, you can be a military police. There are so many different jobs that you really can't anticipate what's gonna be your life for the next few years once you enlist.
How do you choose like what position you get?
You don't.
Oh, so they choose
um,
for you.
so I'm not really sure how it works exactly right now. I'm sure they've changed the way it works. But basically, when you're 16, it's the time to start thinking about your military service. If you want to do something meaningful, meaning that you want to choose where you want to go, you want a specific unit, or you want to go for like a high honors kind of program, because there are a lot of different programs where you go to university during your military service, and then you do a special kind of job, or you have to do a certain kind of unique course to get to different unique jobs. You have to start thinking about it when you're 16 because you have to ask for those things, and then you will get the different assignments you have to try, you have to do, and if you pass through all of those assignments and you have really good grades, you can get into a really good spot. But if your physical abilities are very high, they will put you in combat most of the time, or something that is related to combat. So you don't have really a choice, but if they're able to give you a choice, they will talk to you about it. I mean, it's not it's a strict system, but it's not 100% strict. So, like for example, for myself, um, I wanted to go at the beginning to do something that's about um, like journalism work, like military journalism,
Hmm.
to work at the radio station of the military. And I passed a few tests, but I didn't pass the last ones. And then the military decided, okay, because of your stats and your test that you did, go do a test for the intelligence. And after I did the test to the intelligence, they decided, okay, that's it. You're going to be in that unit, and that's it. Some people got more tests to be in different units, so it really depends. It's very complicated.
Yeah. Is there any like DJs like in the movie with Robin Williams, like Good Morning Vietnam?
Actually, I didn't see that movie, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. I do know, of course, who Robin Williams is.
So he was like
Uh,
a journalist and he like reported on the army radio about like events going on, but it was in like a comedic fashion to like keep people's spirits up.
mm. So there is like an actual radio station in Israel called Galet Tzahal, and they do actual journalism like any other radio station, but it's mostly soldiers, so like soldiers journalists, but the station is managed and commanded by a citizen that is from the industry. But to your question, if they're like DJs and stuff like that, so because the military is mandatory, a lot of the entertainment is made in-house.
Hmm.
So you can be a military magician or a military dancer or a military singer because there is like a place in the military where it's the people that are singers, dancers that are really good or magicians, they go there and then basically what they do is they develop shows and they travel around the different bases and do those shows. It's pretty fun. I managed to bring a magician 2 years in a row to one of the courses I commanded, and it's really fun that you can do that. And you have a soldier in uniforms doing magic tricks. Everyone is happy when that happens.
Yeah, it's important to keep spirits up even in the darkest times. Like whether you're in the armed forces or running a business, you have to make the mundane things or the things that aren't enjoyable somehow enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, you have to find the nice things in life, and I think when you are a soldier, you really need those moments of just being silly because you're serious all the time. And when in business you have more control over it, but you still people get addicted to being so like business oriented. So sometimes you need to know when to take a break, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was talking with someone, maybe it was like last year or the year before, and we were talking about like I'm in the financial business and it's like one of the most professional services out there. And I was like, well, do I really need to wear like a suit and tie to be professional? And I thought about it. I mean, I could wear like a nice suit every day. I was like, you know what? I just want to be like a real person. And if people want someone to wear a suit and tie every day, I'm not the right person to do that just because, like, I don't think like what you wear matters, but some people perceive it in a different way, like based on how you dress. But those are also the sort of people that you want to avoid. People that just like want to work with someone because they dress or look a certain way. Those are the sort of folks that could make business life really hard.
I think it's a good filter for you. Like if you know that that's not the kind of people you want to work with that care about the suits, then it's a great filter. If someone says like, "Why are you not wearing a suit?" Oh, it's because you don't like it. We don't have to work together. I think having filters as a business owner is very important. You don't want every customer. You're not shooting everywhere. You want just a specific, like you want to get the customers you actually want. But I just had to ask. So people usually in the financial area, even if they're not like working at the big firms, like in the big offices, they wear suits usually. I didn't
I,
see a lot of people wearing suits in Florida, for example.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people do wear suits, but I like had a funny thought. I remember when I go to a hotel, like it's a nice hotel, and the person is like working behind the counter wearing a suit. I'm like, I get it. Like you're in a nice hotel, people want to dress nice and have that luxury feeling. But if you think about like the job that they're doing and they're wearing a suit, I'm just like, this person doesn't need to be wearing a suit to do their job. Um,
What's a suit for? I mean, a suit is not something like a fireman. They need an actual suit to protect them, but like a business suit is it's just clothes. I mean,
yeah, because I mean,
what
I look at it
matters
as
is
like
the
I'd rather
value.
wear this shirt because like if I need to like if I want to run to the gym, I could wear this shirt. If I want to like go to the store, I could wear this shirt. If I like put on a suit every day, I have to like take it off, fold it, put it on the hangers, change clothes, then change clothes again. And ultimately that takes up time and effort. And I mean, that's what you're doing at your company is figuring out how to boost productivity and efficiency. And wearing clothes is no different.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Actually, I never thought about clothes in that way. I like to wear nice clothes, but I don't want to wear a suit every day. But I think it's always good to think productivity. I never thought about clothes as a part of my productivity. Um, but it's definitely something that I think as business owners or even managers, we have to have productivity in our brain all the time. So if we decide that wearing a clothes, that the clothes that will help us go to the gym whenever we want is productivity, that's great. I think that's That's a very good aspect of looking at it. Um, yeah, what I do is very different. I'm in the digital world, trying to help businesses being more productive
Hmm.
with AI and automation and and really efficient information systems. That's what I like to do.
And how did you come up with this idea? Because I know we're like you were the highest level, like you're in intelligence in the army, and then you got like ranked very high in the chess world. How did all of that play a part in what you're doing now?
Yeah, I think so. I've been playing chess since I was 5. I'm not really active anymore, but I was really competitive. I think that really helped me develop my basically the way I look at things. I'm very analytical on one side, but very practical on another side. I know how to think ahead, but I also know how to look at what's happening right now and make decision right now. And that's a lot of things that I've learned from chess. Is a really great game if you want to develop your brain and if you want your kids to develop their brain. So chess is amazing. Um, Actually, the serving in the intelligence unit was also a very big inspiration because I worked there with geographic information systems and basically creating efficient solutions to customers within the military. Um, Really helped me understand how to deal with a lot of information and how to um, kind of understand that some of this information is relevant to this person, another of this information is relevant to another person, and take all of that into account when we try to develop a product that will help people with when we have millions and millions of information. Um, so with these 4.5 years in the military, I worked with a very specific information system that I'm not working with it anymore, but it really helped me develop the state of mind. That's what I was trying to do. And when I finished the military, I knew I was really good at understanding people's needs. I knew I was really good with information systems, but I didn't know if that can be a career. And for 2 years, I went and did something totally different. I went to the US. I worked with the Jewish communities there. That's where we met. And I never thought about going back to information systems in that way. But I really started being interested in entrepreneurship. And when I came back to Israel and I decided I wanted to study a little bit. So I went to study entrepreneurship at the university, and I also started working at the entrepreneurship center at the university. I at that job, I saw the information systems they were working with, and the information systems that the person that built them, and how we built it, and how much impact it made on the business. It really made me really really excited. So I started using his system, but very fast. I wanted to start develop more features. So I met with him a couple of times. I understood the information system more, and I started working on it by myself. I started developing more features by myself. We were working with Airtable, which is really strong information system that I personally really enjoy working with. And that was really the beginning of what's happening with me right now, because it was a pretty long journey for 2 years. I created basically solutions with the information systems to the business, to the entrepreneurship center. And I started learning a lot. I learned a lot from YouTube and a lot of different courses, and I joined a lot of different WhatsApp communities of people working with automation. And this whole world opened to my eyes, and I understood, wow, first, there is so much need for businesses to have simple solutions that will help them be more efficient. And second, it's really easy to, it's not easy, but there is so much content to learn from. So it's really easy to learn and to find the information on how to do those things. And all of these things connected for me, and I decided to start my business. Um, which is very, very simple. I go to businesses, I listen to their needs and what is their difficulties and what kind of work they do, and we find either very simple, fast solutions that will help them immediately, or we develop actual really bigger projects, a whole information system, or maybe an artificial intelligence tool, whatever will help them to be more efficient. And that's how they get more time back, and that's worth money.
I do my best for business is whenever I'm like struggling with the process, I attempt to put myself in the shoes of like a fast food chain, like McDonald's or Chick-fil-A. Like you go to the drive-through, what do you want? I want a number two. Okay, and then they might ask like what sauce you want. But like you're not asking McDonald's like, "Hey, I want my hamburger medium rare," or customization. It's like how do you put in the processes? Because in business, typically most clients or customers are going to have the same questions. They're going to have the same needs most of the time. Now, occasionally you have to customize some things, but ultimately, the more systems that you could automate, that gives you the more time to put thought into creative things like working on the business rather than constantly working in the business.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think when I look at automations, I really try to differentiate the difference between automations that are um, for inside the business productivity. So that means not something that the customer is going to see, and then automation that is more customer facing. And that's a very big difference. And let's take that McDonald's example. So you go to the drive-through, and they ask you what do you want. Then you say number two, for example. So they're gonna press. I'm imagining. I've never worked at McDonald's, but if they press at the Big Mac meal, now that worker needs to ask you a few more questions. We can either expect them to remember those questions, or bring them the questions automatically on the screen, for example. So um, if we just started that business, the worker would keep asking the questions. What kind of burger do you want? What's your medium well, medium rare, whatever, like a regular restaurant. But in McDonald's, there is a regular process. It's going to be the same every time. So whenever someone picks this burger, the next question is automatic. We know that the next question has to be, what do you want, large fries or medium fries, for example? So
Small,
that
medium,
question,
large. Yeah.
small, medium, large. And that worker doesn't even need to think about. So the process that needs to be developed to help the worker is maybe pop up a message on the screen after he pressed or she pressed the button, ask what kind of fries do you want? And that's basically what we're trying to do is help the employees, the workers at the businesses or the business owner minimize the amount of times they need to think on what to do, and when that thing is very, very simple, and put more time into creativity tasks. So they don't have to think about, oh, right, whenever I get this message, I need to drag that document, enter it into my CRM, and then write the notes based on what's written in the document, and then change the status. This is very simple. It requires someone to remember to do all of that, and they might even not write very good notes. And we can automate all of that because it's a process that's repeating. So that's basically what this industry is trying to do. And there's so many technological advancements like in the last few years with AI and automation that you can try and do it yourself, but you need someone that lives it. You need someone that does it everywhere, that knows that my business is to work with different businesses, and the use cases are very similar, but every business is a different kind of business. And when you work with someone like that that has this experience of working with all these different industries, it's really easy to bring the solutions like, hey, yeah, I did something like that in that business a week ago. Um, that's the way you can really benefit from knowledge of other businesses. That let's say I work at one time with a lawyer's firm, and then another time I work with a shipping company, and I can bring ideas we did at the lawyer's firm to the shipping company, and that would never happen if the shipping company would work internally on that solution.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I believe if you're not using at least some of these new tools, even if you don't own a business, you're gonna fall behind at a rapid rate. Because
Yeah,
I mean, even the non-paid for ChatGPT can help you in your everyday life. Like you're looking to come up with a recipe, you don't have time to go to the store. You're like, I have these ingredients at home. Tell me what I could make, and then boom, it has an answer, and now you don't even have to think about it. Versus going to Google looking for a recipe, you get a pop up, you have to exit the pop up, you have to scroll down, then there's more ads. Uh, it just helps eliminate the thought process on items that you don't really need to think about, and it gives you the ability to put thought into things that are way more important.
yeah. I mean, people are so used to working and living their life in a certain way. They develop this kind of routine. Yeah, like their brain is wired that way that if we need to look for something, we Google it because they're so used to it. So it's gonna take some time for people to get used to working with AI to create recipes, for example. But I think that's actually the biggest difficulty with bringing technology to our lives is that it's really hard to get used to it. And I think we can look at everything. I mean, we can look at the first iPhone that was with a touch screen, and everyone we're saying like, why? What do I need a touch screen? I have the BlackBerry with the buttons. It's so easy. It's so simple. And it took time. It took some time for people to get used to it. And once they got used to it, no one uses Blackberries anymore. I remember, I don't remember, someone told me when they invented the first car, for example, and people were so skeptical because they said, yeah, but it has no horses. I mean, how is it going to work? Or it has no people are very skeptical when it happens. So 2 years ago, or maybe even more, when ChatGPT came to the world and it was so easy to use it, people were very scared. But now I think very big part of the world is using it on a daily basis. And the next phase that people are still not there is using it efficiently.
Mhm.
Because people are now very used to, I mean, we can write to ChatGPT, give me a recipe for lasagna. But the next level is to prompt in the correct way, in a more detailed way, so we can get a better result. And that's where we're not at yet. The prompt engineering is still not a very big part of our lives, and it's going to take some time. We have to put it in education. I know that in Israel, I don't know what's happening in the US, but they're developing like classes for teenagers on how to use AI,
Mhm.
so they get used to it very early because it's a tool that we're gonna have for the rest of our lives now, and it's gonna get even better every day. Um,
Every
so it's
second.
already here. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, ChatGPT right now, if you just wait 5 seconds, it just got better.
yeah. I mean, I'm interested. Like, do you use how do you use ChatGPT, for example, in your non-business life? That's interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, I used it. Let's see. I mean, I just have it on my phone. I go on a browser. Let's see. I'll pull up.
You don't have the app on your phone?
No, it takes up. I attempt to have as few apps on my phone. I prefer to use the browser because the apps take up storage.
Yeah.
Um,
It's more accessible. So,
so like yesterday, I asked. Does fresh squeezed orange go well on salmon? If so, what spices would you add? And then it said yes, and then it told me exactly what spices. I didn't have all the spices, but I had some of the spices. And then basically it told me exactly what to do. I followed the instructions. I put the salmon in the oven. I pulled it out. Then I took the oranges and I put it on top of the salmon. I let it sit, and I put it in the refrigerator. And I used fresh squeezed orange to flavor my salmon.
That sounds cool. I mean,
Yep.
that's a great use.
So,
I did a cocktail evening with ChatGPT. I told him what kind of alcohol I have in my house and what kind of fruits or additions I can do, and then it planned the whole cocktail evening for me. So he said like you can mix that and that and that with that and that and that, and only based on the ingredients I had. And that's another cool use. We can do basically everything with that, almost everything.
yeah, I mean, if I have a question, I go to Chat GPT now versus Google. And I ask it sometimes. I go, hey, like I need a link to a website to learn about this. Could you find one for me? I use the paid version. The paid version's way better.
Yeah.
I think it's like $30 a month, but most people are like, why would I pay $30 a month when I can use Google? It's like, well, if ChatGPT saves you how many seconds or minutes every time you use it versus Google, and then you add up all those minutes over the course of a year, paying $180 may be a good investment.
I mean, if you're using ChatGPT only to look for websites, I don't think that's a very that's not enough. You can do a lot of other things with it. Um, I mean, basically for your personal life, a lot of the times the free version is enough. But for businesses, you have to have the paid versions. But if you're looking for like, I have a search engine that I really enjoy. It's called Perplexity,
Mm.
and it's a basically it's an AI search engine. And I barely use Google anymore. I mostly use Perplexity, and I really like it because it gives me citations, and when it gives me an answer, basically an AI answer to the questions I asked, it also gives me links to the websites, and it gives me those different all the different aspects that can be related to the answer to the question I asked. So like a website, a video, a photo, all in one place. It's really comfortable. So I barely use Google anymore. I'm really curious about how Google is gonna deal with the AI advancing. I know they added more AI answers to your Google search now. So when you search for a question, sometimes you're gonna get the answer in Google. But it feels to me so old, searching in Google and then like looking at all these different articles, link by link by link, looking for the answer to my question. I don't remember how we lived like that a few years ago.
Yeah, I've had a few people that I know like say like Google is really behind on AI, which they are. Google is not just like a purely AI company though. Plus, since there's so much lag between people starting to adopt these things, it gives the larger companies time to figure out what their users want and how to implement those AI tools. And with the companies like Google and Microsoft and Apple being so large, if they see something they like, they could just buy it.
Right.
So that's what it comes down to. And I mean, that's what a lot of people say. And I mean, like Google owns the internet. Like my business is run completely through Google Workspace. Um, they own YouTube and YouTube TV. Plus, I learned from you, they own Waze. They own a lot of
Yeah,
things.
basically, yeah. They do own a lot of things, the Alphabet, this huge corporation. They actually did a few very interesting and very big steps in AI in the last month with their new Gemini 2.0 model, and like being able to access everything through the Google AI Studio. And it's pretty crazy. You can share your screen through the Google AI Studio. If you're trying to learn something or write something or code something, you can share your screen with the AI, and it's gonna guide you through what you're doing with the voice. So Google is trying, but it's not as easy for them to proceed as the startup companies like OpenAI and Anthropic. But you see companies like Google and now with Elon Musk with Grok the X on the X platform, they are creating pretty strong models, and some people really like them. Um, it's really interesting how the market is going to be in a few years from now, because now there are a lot of different players. Some of them are really big, some of them are smaller, but all of them create really good products. I mean, really good products. Something like technology that we've never seen before. Every time they update something, it's crazy. Um, I think that the big players are gonna stay big. They're gonna stay big, and I like the fact that we have smaller players in that field because it brings more innovation.
Yeah, innovation is key. And if the smaller companies are using these tools, the bigger companies are using the same tools to push the push the envelope to keep innovating, keep coming up with new ideas, and plus, we'll have to see. But ultimately, it's a net positive. It makes people's lives easier, makes them more productive, and the less time you have to spend on certain things that are more mundane, that gives you more time to spend on the important things in life.
Right. I think that in the next few years, the whole society is going to change because the things that seemed important till today are going to change, and the whole day-to-day life, because a lot of those routine tasks that we did are going to not we're not going to need to do them anymore. A lot of the tasks that we put a lot of time are going to take much less time right now. um, so the whole society is going to change because of that. It's really interesting. I don't really go very deep into that. I just like the technology stuff and how it solves problems. um, but I think we're going to see a very big change in the next few years, and especially with the young people. I'm really curious to see like how teenagers are solving their I don't know, their homework now with AI, and how the schools are changing because of that. I know the universities are very slow with changing, and they still give a lot of those assignments that are very easy to solve with AI. And yeah, there are so many ways it's gonna affect the society, but we just have to move on and then keep looking at what's changing. So I like that I put myself in a place where I follow the technology, and um, I don't let I my work makes me follow the technology and what's happening, and it's I don't have to feel behind all of the time, although I feel behind all of the time. It doesn't matter how much I learn, there's still a lot of more things that I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, overall, accept AI, use it, make your life better. Um, I mean, anything that's good, people will find a way to make it not good and use it for bad things. But ultimately, people said the same thing about the internet. People are saying the same thing about the car when it was invented, and now people are saying the same thing about AI. So definitely implement in your life and make your life easier, so you don't have to think about every little thing every single day.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Stav, thanks for hopping on. We'll see everyone next time.